Hey everyone, welcome to the channel Green Thumb Guide. In my channel, I will discuss about the various latest technologies, latest advancements of the horticulture. Today I will start with a very warm topic, that is protected cultivation of vegetable crops. This is the lecture first of my lecture series, and in the last topic or the last slide, I will also tell you why I am emphasizing more on the protected cultivation of vegetable crops. So, with the start of this topic, I am here discussing about the protected cultivation. Now, what is protected cultivation? It's a technique where the crops are to be grown under the protected structures, where the microclimate around the soil or the plant is fully or partially controlled, which is sufficient to modify the crop from the adverse weather climatic conditions. So the protected cultivation ensures the conservation of soil moisture by using the drip irrigations, mulches, etc. Or secondly, the efficient use of energy, mainly the solar energy, because the protected cultivation is based on the principle of greenhouse effect. I am more emphasizing on the word greenhouse effect. Nextly, I will also discuss about the principle of the greenhouse effect. So it's clear about the protected cultivation that it's a covered structure. It's a totally covered structure where vents are provided, fans are provided according to the weather conditions to grow a particular crop, a particular vegetable crop. Here I am discussing only about the protected cultivation of vegetable crops. Secondly, the protected cultivation, or you can say the controlled environment agriculture. It's a combination of horticultural and engineering techniques to optimize the crop production, crop quality, as well as production efficiency. In case of protected agriculture, one can also ensure the enhanced income from these type of structures. These structures are very important for the today's farming techniques, a latest farming technique. Now, the question arises in every mind that how it is possible that under the protected cultivations the higher yield can be achieved, the climate can be controlled, the production can be improved, the quality of the fruit is very improved. Overall the production efficiency improved, or the residual effect of pesticides is very least. I will discuss all in detail that how it is possible. Firstly, discussing about the principle of greenhouse. In this you can see the sun rays are entering inside the structure. The rays which are entering inside the structure are particularly of short wavelength or short wavelength infrared radiations. We can say infrared radiations. When these radiations touches the ground of that greenhouse, then these short wavelengths will become longer wavelength because of the some energy occupied inside the structure or the greenhouse. Hence the gases will emit from these structures, which are known as greenhouse gases, or sometimes these longer wavelengths will not escape out from the greenhouse because the covering of that glass, that glass covering the top of the greenhouse. So the greenhouse or the protected structure works on this principle. As overall you can see, this avoids the hot and cold areas within the crop prevents the excessive humidity, reduces the conditions which favors the diseases, maintain the active growing conditions for proper growth and development of the crop, ensures each and every crop to efficiently grow. Hence, you can see here in this particular structure. So the next slide. Why I am more discussing about these structures. Open field conditions are also there and the polyhouses are also there. In the last era, people are more and more using these open structures. But now in this decade, the people are more interested on the polyhouses. Why? You can clearly see the difference, a big difference of yield. The farmer is mostly dependent on its production, that how much he is producing, how much quantity he is getting from his main crop. Here you can see the large difference of yield. Firstly, if I talk about the capsicum, which is of about yielding of about 220 quintals per hectare under the open field conditions. But in case of capsicum growing under the polyhouses, you can see the capsicum yield is 1400 quintal per hectare. This is on an average. The data I am showing you is on an average, not exact data, but yes, this much is the difference you can see. Secondly, I am talking about the tomato crop. Tomato yield is 498 quintals per hectare, and the yield of tomato inside the structure, the polyhouse, is 1500 quintal per hectare on an average. Thirdly, if I talk about the crop cucumber, the major crop of polyhouse, the yield is 260 quintals per hectare, and for the polyhouse, the cucumber yield is generally 1800 quintals per hectare. A big difference of yield. You can see from this table the big difference. Why this difference? Because in case of polyhouses, there is a vertical growth of crop, and in each and every internode there is a setting of fruit. Flower setting, then fruit setting. You will get the fruit on each and every node. That's why. And secondly, the duration of the crop is more under the polyhouse structure. Thirdly, the vertical growth habit of these crops. These three are majorly of crops which we can take inside our structure, polyhouses. So next is, in everybody's mind there is a question, always a question, why we need the protected cultivation. So we need the protected cultivation for higher yield, year-round cultivation, better quality assurance, off-season production, thereafter employment generation, least pesticidal residue effect, controlled pollination, for easier plant protection, for weed-free cultivation. In case of higher yield, if we talk about the yield, which I also discussed in my last slide, that is the yield difference of the crops under the protected and open field condition. Why this gap is there? Because of vertical growth habit of the crop inside the structure, and secondly, the controlled climate inside the structure because of fans and even the other controlled climated instruments are there. I've already discussed that this is a combination of horticultural engineering. So when both the field join together, this will prove the efficiency of the protected structure. Secondly, the year-round cultivation. year-round cultivation is possible because of the climate control. It's a technology which is fully controlled, climate controlled. Like evaporative cooling process is there, which is suitable for the mild winters and as well as for the summers. And then you can take the three crops of cucumber. You can take 3 crops in a year. So you can see the large difference of this yield. In case of cucumber, 260 to 1800 quintals per hectare, such a big difference because of 3 crops in a year, and farmer can assure a better price, or he will fetches a good return from his crop under the protected structure. Better quality, तो क्वालिटी इज बेस्ट. वाई? देखिए, जब आप कोई भी क्रॉप ले रहे हैं अपनी प्रोटेक्टेड स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर, तो आप एक ऐसी डिजीज़ फ्री हेल्दी नर्सरी ले रहे हैं. सॉइललेस नर्सरी में, सॉइललेस नर्सरी का मतलब है जब आप कोकोपीट, वर्मिकुलाइट और परलाइट 3:1:1 की रेशो में ले रहे हैं, तो क्या हो रहा है कि आपकी जो वो मीडिया है वो स्टरलाइज्ड मीडिया है, एक तरह से जो डिजीजेस से और इंसेक्ट्स से फ्री है बिल्कुल. तो जब उस स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर हम इस टाइप की नर्सरी को अंदर लेके जा रहे हैं, एक हाईटेक नर्सरी से जब हम प्रोटेक्टेड कल्टीवेशन को सक्सेस कर रहे हैं, तो हमारा ऑटोमेटिकली क्या हो रहा है कि हमारी जो क्वालिटी है, फ्रूट की जो क्वालिटी है वो बेस्ट आ रही है, क्योंकि कोई इंसेक्ट्स, पेस्ट और डिजीजेज उसके साथ नहीं है. Thirdly, the off-season production means totally controlled climate. Because of vagaries of weather outside the structure, that means the open field condition, the climate is going to be changing in every month, every season, in every aspect. The climate is going to change, but inside the structure we are controlling the climate. We are totally changing the climate of that structure, which is suitable for the growth and development of the plant or any vegetable crop which we are taking in the structure, inside the structure. Thirdly, the employment generations. As I have mentioned that employment generation from the protected structure, because the more number of farmers can be engaged in a one structure, like he can take more and more crops from that structure of a particular vegetable crop. So मतलब कि एक फार्मर जो है वो एंगेज है लंबे टाइम तक प्रोटेक्टेड स्ट्रक्चर में, पूरा ऑफ सीजन भी ले रहा है, बेटर क्वालिटी भी ले रहा है, ईयर राउंड कल्टीवेशन भी ले रहा है, तो उसका वो स्ट्रक्चर कभी खाली नहीं रहना चाहिए. तो जब वो स्ट्रक्चर खाली नहीं रह रहा, तो वो एक एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट कर रहा है, एक ऐसी एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट कर रहा है जिससे वो अच्छा इनकम कर रहा है, अपनी रिटर्न क्रॉप से अच्छी ले रहा है, एक हेल्दी नर्सरी से फैच कर रहा है वो, जो कि बिल्कुल इंसेक्ट पेस्ट से फ्री है. नेक्स्ट इज लीस्ट पेस्टिसाइड रेजिड्यू. ठीक है, हम लोग कोई भी इंसेक्ट पेस्ट जब उसके अंदर नहीं आ रहा है, वेरी लेस चांसेस हैं कि उसके अंदर कोई इंसेक्ट उसके डोर से एंट्री कर रहा है. दैट्स वाई डबल डोर सिस्टम हमारे पास होना चाहिए प्रोटेक्टेड स्ट्रक्चर में, और हमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जो है स्टिकी ट्रैप्स का यूज़ करना चाहिए, ताकि हमारे जो स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर इंसेक्ट्स की एंट्री है वो बिल्कुल प्रोहिबिटेड हो जाए. और जैसे ही हमारे स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर कोई भी इंसेक्ट एंटर नहीं करेगा, तो हमें ऑटोमेटिकली कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है कि हम उसके लिए यूज़ करें एक कोई भी पेस्टिसाइड्स या कोई भी इंसेक्टिसाइड्स. जब इस तरह की हम केमिकल यूज़ नहीं करेंगे, तो हमारे जो स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर है वो लेस चांसेस होंगे, हमारी क्रॉप में स्प्रे के लेस चांसेस होंगे. तो क्योंकि कोई स्ट्रक्चर में कोई है ही नहीं, कोई चीज़ ही नहीं है जो उसको हार्म कर रही है, स्ट्रक्चर के प्रोड्यूस को हार्म कर रही है, राइट। देन द कंट्रोल्ड पॉलिनेशन। देखिए जो हमारा प्रोटेक्टेड स्ट्रक्चर है, एक तो उसमें हवा की एंट्री बिल्कुल रेस्ट्रिक्टेड है। सेकेंडली जो हमारे पॉलिनेटर्स हैं लाइक बम्बल्स भी हैं, बम्बल बी की एक्टिविटी कम है, मैनी अदर पॉलिनेटर्स आते हैं जो पॉलिनेशन कंट्रोल करते हैं, पॉलिनेशन करते हैं फ्लावर्स की, प्लांट्स में, दे आर लेस। सो वी कैन गो फॉर द मैनुअल पॉलिनेशन इन दैट स्ट्रक्चर, we can go for the pollinators. Artificial pollination is possible inside the structure. If artificial pollination is present, or we can take the crop from the artificial pollination, the seed setting is very good. If the seed setting is good, next time जो हमारे पास crop आएगी, वो जो seed आएगा एकदम प्योर होगा, बिना किसी इन्फेक्शन से, बिना किसी वेदर की एडवर्स वेदर क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन से प्रोड्यूस होगा। तो वो जो सीड हमें मिलेगा वो हमारा बिल्कुल प्योर सीड रहेगा। तो सीड सेटिंग के चांसेस भी अच्छे रहेंगे क्योंकि हम पॉलिनेशन को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट इज द ईजियर प्लांट प्रोटेक्शन। प्लांट प्रोटेक्शन जो है हमारा, जैसे आउटसाइड में कोई भी है आपके पास, कोई भी क्रॉप आप ओपन फील्ड कंडीशन में ले रहे हैं, तो आपको ज़्यादा बल्क में अपना जो केमिकल है यूज़ करना पड़ेगा। कोई भी ऑर्गेनिक है, इनऑर्गेनिक आप यूज़ कर रहे हैं केमिकल्स, तो आपको ज़्यादा बल्क में यूज़ करने पड़ेंगे। लेकिन जब आप प्रोटेक्टेड स्ट्रक्चर में केमिकल्स को यूज़ करेंगे या प्रोटेक्टेड स्ट्रक्चर में ऑर्गेनिक ट्रीटमेंट्स दे रहे हैं, तो आपको पर्टिकुलर एरिया के अकॉर्डिंगली ट्रीटमेंट देंगे और आपकी जो हवा की एंट्री है वो बिल्कुल रेस्ट्रिक्टेड है। तो प्लांट प्रोटेक्शन को भी आप इजीली मेंटेन कर सकते हैं। लास्टली आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द वीड फ्री कल्टीवेशन। वीड फ्री कल्टीवेशन इज पॉसिबल either through organic mulches or through inorganic mulches. In the next topic or the lecture, I will discuss about the various constraints of protected cultivations. The people are facing these constraints inside the protected structure. But here you can see in this table the share of polyhouse commodities in crop income on sample households. The big difference of open field vegetable crops in the second one, and in the fourth one the income from the polyhouse crop. That is, the income from the polyhouse crop is in rupees per farm, that is 46,878. A big difference between both the incomes. Income from open field vegetable crop, income from the polyhouses crop. The percentage data is 16% data is different inside the structure. So the polyhouses are giving us more chances to create a revenue. So the polyhouses are generally actually what happens inside the structure, the solar energy is entering about of shorter wavelength, becoming longer wavelength, as well as the sum of the energy is absorbed by the crops and the objects inside the house. And when that object inside the house releasing the light of longer wavelength, then it creating the greenhouse effect. Means it's changing the environment, it's changing the climate, controlling the climate of microclimate of the plant surface, or the soil. So the light does not emit out because of that cladding material outside the or the non-transparent for the light. So what will happen to that light which get trapped? Temperature is going to be increased. Secondly, that rise temperature is responsible for the growth of the plant, especially in the cold climates. But during the summer months, what we can do? We can open that vents for the proper cooling of the system. क्या होता है कि जो गर्मी आती है तो हमारा टेम्परेचर, जो हमारे पॉली हाउस का टेम्परेचर, वो ज़्यादा राइज कर जाता है बियॉन्ड द क्रिटिकल स्टेज एज. सो दिस इज इन सिंपल टर्म्स. Thank you for listening my topic. Now, why I'm talking about more about the protected cultivations, why I'm interested about the protected cultivation,